तिनक धिन धागे न 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 तिनक धिन.
Every day I wake, I make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way. Yeah. Every day I wake, I make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the because they only telling their side of the story. Out here telling lies like they on Maury. Them poor rich kids get their money off on it. But down here in the hood, yeah, we no forex. We growing up, yeah. We got the goods. Good of them assets, good of my bag. Get rid of cash before the whole market crash. A news flash, just a flash from the past. We on the smash now. Be prepared to hit the gas, yeah.
Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We divide, blood eye, and we travel.
Try.
Blood eye, and we travel.
Woo. That's my child. Woo.
Blood eye, and we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the high, yeah. Sharing Oaxaca from Virginia, yeah.
I know I'm more because I'm less. I know I'm more. I pass the test.
We got to see with the true eyes. We need some brand new bright ideas. We got the hearts and some great minds, yeah. If we could all just be sincere.
Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We divide, blood eye, and we travel.
Try.
Blood eye, and we travel.
Woo. That's my child. Woo.
Blood eye, and we travel. Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We divide, blood eye, and we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the high, yeah.
Peace to the party. It's your homeboy back again. Hey, and like always, it's a special time anytime we are gathered together. Hey, we hit another milestone. Almost 16,000 subscribers, bro. We really starting to get a foothold. Thanks to y'all. Appreciate the support. While you're here, come on in, hit the like button, leave a comment, join in the chat, man. We got some new endeavors coming y'all way. Y'all can see right now. It's American maroon shirt. Got a different couple flavors coming y'all way. Would very much like y'all support. This is our way of fundraising, right? Offering a real tangible product that says a message that we can then use in turn to continue to grow this network. We're trying to reach people as many ways as possible. So those of y'all who've been rocking with us for a while, you know this Sunday service is our staple show. But you will be seeing a lot of different programming efforts coming your way, an effort of us trying to reach the people to get them to this knowledge. So with that being said, the order of the day is, we're going to get over there and talk about them Borderlands, right? Talk about some reclassification. But we got to talk current news before we get there. So I'm real interested to see what y'all got to say about this, because I doing my research. I was trying to see what's really going on. So a very popular figure that we've been covering, Jasmine Crockett, some very interesting news happened associated with her, but it's on the hush hush, and it's not a lot of information, which is very strange based on the nature of the event. But let's go hear what the news got to say. We're going to break it down.
Now to a major story unfolding. This one involves a man who was killed by Dallas police earlier this week outside of Children's Medical Center. Sources say the man who was fatally shot by SWAT actually ran a business placing law enforcement officers in off-duty jobs, and apparently he was also part of the security detail for Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Our JD Miles tonight investigating how he apparently, using aliases, was able to become such a prominent figure in the public safety community.
To North Texas law enforcement officers and U.S. Capitol Police, he was known as Mike King, but sources tell us that's not the name of the man shot and killed by Dallas police on Wednesday night during an investigation into his alleged double life as a suspected criminal, also working as a security officer for a local U.S. Congresswoman. These images of Mike King standing close to Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett shows how trusted he was as part of her security detail while she's been in office and while on the campaign trail during her recent run for a U.S. Senate seat. Multiple law enforcement sources say King was the man shot and killed after a standoff with Dallas police SWAT officers on Wednesday night. Police say he was chased into a hospital parking garage where he barricaded himself inside a vehicle before he was forced out by tear gas and pulled a gun on officers. Sources say he was wanted for impersonating a law enforcement officer. Sources say he claimed to be one while operating a business called Off-Duty Police Services, an online platform to connect North Texas law enforcement officers with off-duty jobs. Authorities have yet to reveal King's real name, but sources also tell us King oversaw a team of security officers at several downtown Dallas hotels and at his own church. Sources say King drove a replica undercover law enforcement vehicle with license plates stolen from vehicles outside military offices. His background, which sources say includes a criminal history, raises serious questions about how he was able to oversee extra jobs for police officers as well as obtain such a high-level security position for a sitting member of Congress. Documents obtained by CBS News Texas show a person named Mike King receiving payments for security services from Crockett as recently as last year. We have contacted Congresswoman Crockett's office, and for now, they are declining to answer questions, as is the Dallas Police Department. JD Miles, CBS News Texas.
Bruh, hey, so in the chat, y'all let me know. Have y'all heard any details about this? Because when I went to go search, it was the same news clipping coming out of Dallas saying that it was legit, right? But ain't no extra news. Cause like, how did Buddy get an alias that was able to get him a security clearance to be able to sit next to a sitting congressman? That part don't make sense to me. So how was he able to contract at these jobs for the police? So it makes sense why neither Crockett's team nor the police is trying to speak on it, because it's a bad look for both sides. So I wouldn't be surprised if this just get buried, because that's what is going on right now. You would think this would be breaking news that this happened. It should be getting talked about within all of Black media. And I ain't heard nothing at all about this, except for I seen one. I don't even know how it first came on my radar, but when I started searching to see what the write-ups were, what the different, obviously the investigation ain't gonna be done, but what is the popular narrative being put out? It really ain't one. You know what I'm saying? It's just the fact that Buddy barricaded himself into a hospital, ran. SWAT was who apprehended him now. And then he basically did, unaliving by police. He pulled. Strange to me that isn't being talked about more, because that's a serious issue. Like, how did this man be able to obtain this position working for both Crockett and working with the local police? Been crazy. So as you say, they've been quiet as a church mouse pissing on a ball of cotton. I'm just saying, when I asked my wife, had she even heard of this the other day, she said, no, this happened on Wednesday, bro. So they like this breaking news, and it's not really being covered. So, when strange things happen to a certain party, it just got swept under the rug. Just like, y'all remember how the Obamas had the whole thing with their chef. Whatever came of that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of strange things that's been happening that coincidentally don't get covered with the same amount of traction if this was on somebody else, where the last name started with a T, would have had something like this going on. Boy, somebody says it's a cover up. I don't know, bro, but it's pretty interesting. We got to be vigilant of everything that's going on within the media and go dig for ourselves, because things be attached to certain prominent people, and then we don't hear about them no more. But then others, all we do is get scapegoated and talking about these small few people when everybody else is just getting away scot-free. It don't make no sense if you ask me, but that's just what the latest news is on the streets on that. So we're going to stay tuned and see what coming at. Best believe I'm going to keep a watchful eye. But right now, it's hush-hush about what more than what we just saw. No other details about who that man really is, how he was able to pull this off, and what the people involved are going to do to make sure something like this don't happen again, because that's pretty crazy. Yeah, somebody say, buddy, he knew something. You never know, bro, because they giving this crazy narrative about him, but we got to see how this hold up, because there's a lot going on. I ain't even covering all the other public shootings that was going on. It's a pretty wild time right now. And then we all know that last time that Trump was the president, the powers that be pulled off some diabolical stuff. So you never know what's headed our way. This is why it's important for us to be aware of what's going on and stay informed. You feel me? So with that being said, I'm pretty sure some of y'all may have heard about. Y'all remember when they was talking about doing that Target boycott, right? All pastors and Roland Martins and all these people, right, got together, said they want to boycott. Well, they say it's ending, but I don't know, because they got beef about ending it the whole night. But I want y'all to hear it straight from Buddy Mouth, who said he the one calling it off. They mad with him right now. Hold on. He say they not even talking about the reason why they were chasing. Yeah, so like, how did he even? What was the straw that broke the camel's back? Like, how did he even now start to get apprehended to where he got chased? How SWAT got involved? Like, lots of questions there for sure. But we're gonna be watching that one to see. Boy, it's your ghetto news host, and I'm on the job, boy. Watch this. So let's go over here to Buddy Jamal Bryant, bro. Peace to everybody in the chat. Once again, man, hit the like button on your way in. We appreciate every super chat, every comment, every share that y'all put out to your people. We got merchandise coming soon. There's American Maroon shirts, a couple different variations coming. Y'all stay tuned. We would definitely love that support. This is an independent network, everything independently funded. So with that being said, speaking about funding, these folks always want to boycott and play with somebody else's fun, but what is really the benefit that we get? But let's listen to Buddy right here explain himself. Hold on. Say, can you speak on Rod Hayes, who's attacking us Europeans, please? So I'm not familiar with what he said. Leave a comment, in what regard, what's being talked about. Let me know. Jamal Bryant, hello. Hey, and let me rant real quick. So, they be trying to talk about why are people doing media or podcasts or just having their own voice. But you see everybody who's this so-called big figure, celebrity, whatever you want to call it, what do? Have their own media, because it's important to shape your own narrative, bro. So this is why we build an independent media. We got to go up against the giants to be able to get our message heard. You know what I'm saying? So this is why.
From the pulpit to politics. Today is our 100th episode, and I'm grateful for those of you who have been on the journey with us. Today was supposed to be a hallmark celebration, but given the most recent events that have taken place this week, we're having to make a hard pivot. I wanted to address you directly about what has transpired around the Target fast and the Target boycott. I have extended my life in serving our people, serving our community, and serving my congregation. The very last thing I ever want to do is be a proponent of division or divisiveness. I want us to be together as one. This week, I failed at doing that. When it is that I called for the end of the Target fast, community and culture.
Bro, what the hell is a Target fast? The whole thing was done to me, bro. The whole thing was done, but let me let them cook some more.
We're disappointed, angry, frustrated, and bewildered. What did it mean? Have you sold out? Have you given up? You wave the white flag. And emphatically, the answer is no. I wanted to walk you through what has taken place over the last year that has gotten to the place of where we are right now. A year ago, Target out in real time. And it dawned on me that the Black church was not a part of the equation or the conversation dealing with civic engagement. And I pulled from their genius and their prowess the Target fast to walk alongside them. It was intended to pull together Black churches, Black congregations, and Black denominations to get back in the conversation. We're part of a generation that doesn't see the relevance of the Black church or has not been able to bear witness of our prophetic mantle. As a consequence, there's the largest demographic of Black people who don't go to church, 28%, the largest amount of Black people who self-identify as atheist, 8%. And so I wanted to drive the church to be in the center.
That don't even make sense what he's saying. How is a boycott of Target going to accomplish that? Getting more people in the church.
The Target fast that began the first week of March of 2025 was just to go 40 days from Ash Wednesday to Easter. And in so doing.
Okay, listen, bro. So I'm about to go out. So let me just surmise this. He got heat for calling off this so-called fast because people saying that he got paid and that's why he calling it off. Very possible. But the people who said he got paid is also known. So Tamika Mallory is one of the people who calling him out. Now, for those of y'all who've been with us for a while, just a couple weeks ago, we broke down how when she, what's his name? Tamir Rice's mama did an interview with Tasha K, and she said how she named Tamika Mallory by name. She ain't like the way them so-called activists was doing things behind closed doors just to get this money and notoriety. So what is they beefing with Target for? Because they can get notoriety off of it and maybe even a payoff to calm it down. Because at the end of the day, what do Black people gain by, let's say Target go out of business. What do Black people gain by that? Absolutely nothing. There's going to be another company to come fill their void who is still not owned by us. Like, this don't even make no sense. And the whole premise of us supposed to be mad at them was because of DEI, when people have already broken down the studies and seen that Black people in particular was not the ones benefiting from these policies, bro. Matter of fact, Target was one of the main people putting out Black products, letting folks get their shine. Like, come on, man. We just got to keep it real. But for some reason, we think that this was going to help the Black community by boycotting Target and hoping they go out of business. You feel me? Talking about a Target fast. Like, it's really ridiculous, bro. These are the things that our so-called leaders, they appointing themselves to be our leaders. That's what they taking their time to put together that they think is going to be effective in today's time. That boycott Target and don't buy nothing from them. Buy from somebody else who's also still not owned by us. But we going to make that one company close. This the logic that these folks sat back and it's supposed to be the brilliant minds, and this is what they came up with. It's really ridiculous, bro. So here go another thing. These same grifters, these same people, they talking crazy. So right now, y'all know we got the situation going on with Iran, right? It's supposed to be, hyping it up, nothing we ain't never seen before. But they saying to us that we need to be worried. But then you got those of us who live here who are rooting for America to fail. Now, obviously, we cover history. A lot of grievances that we got to have with America internally with the system, right? However, we still live on this continent, meaning that if bad things happen to America, the system, it happens to us too, right? So some type of logic got to kick in here. So what made me even think about this, Joe Budden was having a conversation. Listen what they had to say.
The question to you is, do you want us to win this war? Us as in America. We don't have to agree with why it started or how it got here. But once it's in the thick of it, aren't you or shouldn't you be rooting for a win?
Not me. No, I don't root for a win. What I root for, because I know what a win would mean. First of all, even the word "we" is doing very particular work in that sentence, right? Because I think about myself in the context of a global community as well. I don't necessarily think of myself just as a citizen of the United States, although I am. When a lot of us who are even disconnected from the issue say we want to win, well, you're thinking about the safety of the troops, the stability of our lives. Don't want a win any more than if your homie's fighting. The first thing you want, what you're rooting for, is a resolution.
Facts.
You'd love to come in there, cool this shit down, and be like, yo, let's get out of here.
Of course, yes.
That's plan A.
Yep.
I don't want a loss because of what losses mean, right? And if we're talking about Iran in particular, there are consequences to an Iran quote-unquote win. What I'd like to see in the purpose of having an international community and international bodies like the United Nations, for example, is to have people who can intervene to create some kind of resolution where you don't even have to have winners and losers, because that the very framework of winners and losers requires a lot of people to die, people's land to get annexed or taken, etc.
What does a Iran win look like here?
Here, it may not look that different, except for the number of people who die.
Okay.
I'll give you a concrete example. Think about Vietnam. The United States lost the Vietnam War.
Right.
Just by any objective measure, U.S. lost the Vietnam War.
Facts.
So if you say, what did that mean here? Well, it meant a lot of our uncles and aunts and friends and relatives died.
Got it.
And there was an economic cost for the war machine. And a whole lot of people got rich from that war machine here. So it also strengthened the gap between the have-nots and the have-gots. Those are the kind of things that I don't want to see. But the Vietnamese won, but for the Vietnamese, winning kind of meant resisting the imperial power. It meant making the U.S. say, fuck it, this ain't worth it. It's like if you keep bullying somebody every day and they can fight, at some point the bully gonna look for somebody else. Even if ultimately they don't lose, they don't want to fight that hard all the time. So an Iran win could just look like resisting and keeping their land. In the same way that a Cuban win for the last 50 years has meant keeping the imperialists at arm's length. Sometimes because they want you to think that if Iran is successful, that means that they're going to take over the whole country and there's going to be a global caliphate and that Sharia law is going to control the whole. That's not what the
Iran winning a war of attrition with the U.S. would mean more than just the safety of their people. It would mean the crashing of our economy, the crashing of a dollar, us being without resources.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't see any evidence of that. But also, it depends on how we escalate, right? I mean, if this escalates, because there's always proxy wars, right? A lot of these wars are really Russia and China and other people fighting against the United States through other people, right? If this keeps growing to a World War II scale, then the things you're talking about could happen. But that doesn't have to be, that's not even plan C. I think there's a lot of steps before we get there. This could stop in 5 weeks. This could stop in 8 weeks. And if the United States, if the Iranian military infrastructure is strong enough, they could stare down the U.S. enough for the U.S. to back up, but allow the U.S. military to save face. Because that's what Donald Trump's not walking away with an L.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well,
Iran will defeat the United States. Time will tell. And our drones that are being fired are very old drones. Our missiles that are being fired are very old missiles. They're very inexpensive. And Americans are using up very expensive air defense systems. The Iranians know exactly what they're doing. We haven't even begun using our latest technology, and most of Iran's underground bases have not even been used yet. They have not even been opened up for operation. Iran has been planning for this day ever since the invasion of Iraq. They knew that at some point the Epstein regime will go after
That don't sound like people only fighting
and
for their
therefore they've
safety.
been preparing themselves for many.
The
That
first
sound like
thing you
niggas
need to-
geared up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sound like niggas ready for some bullshit since Iraq. We've
you
been
have to
plotting. We've been. That's not
that
just.
sound like
that's the only way you can be safe. That's what.
My bad, I was muted. Hey, so I like the conversation because I see it. I'm seeing it on social media. You know, people saying in joking manners, like, you know, because it's the whole Trump syndrome. You know, people got to talk about Trump every day. They so-called hate him, but talk about him every day, right? And so they want this act that's happening right now to be the worst, most evil thing that ever happened. So something bad can happen to him. Not understanding the fact that him being the leader of the free world mean that whatever happened to him happened to us if we talking acts of war, bro. So it sounds pretty crazy, but it just once again leads to how informed we be. Because I do agree with him, the fact of how things happen by proxy, even this war here. We understand the relationship with them people over there in the Middle East taking over. We get that. We ain't saying that Trump ain't working with them people. Everybody is working with them people if you in politics. That's part of the issue, but you can't just single that out to no one person. That's been going on, right? So that's why it's important to be aware. You got to know what's actually going on with these people. And at the end of the day, we in this mess together here in America, so we can't root on our own downfall. Make sure you tap in and get you an American maroon shirt, because we the real Americans, while we giving this power away, saying we everything else under the sun. But, you know, it was written, as they say. So, hey, look, we got to get ready, bro. We got to go over there, take it to the Gullah Man Squad. We got to talk about these Borderlands, bro, because Matt got some. We talked about it earlier on what the message is going to be today. So kind of explaining how these territories was taken over. Speaking of Iran, speaking of nothing is new under the sun, right? Is why we got to be informed on what's really happening so we at a pivotal time in history, we got to make sure we choose the right paths and with the right actions. But you can't do that if you misinformed through this media, bro. So, hey, let's take it to Gullah Man Squad. Let them talk to our spirit real quick. Get us full. Go get your refill on your drink. Go get right. Tag a few more people. Tell them pull up. It's time to get to it. Some amazing analysis of history. You feel me? So, hey, Gullah Man Squad, it's time for them to go and take off. We'll get back with y'all. We're going to get to that food.
In a file, a barcode born to reconcile. But when I breathe, I feel the flame of every soul that wore my name.
They test my blood, but not my song. They name me right, but spell me wrong. Every drop still testifies. We survived what couldn't die.
Remember the hands that pray, yeah. We remember the price they paid.
We remember the light,
the climb,
'cause the blood remembers time.
We remember who we are.
No code, no lamb, no star.
Treasure who we are.
From the field to the skyline,
from the roots to the divine.
We remember our name, 'cause the blood remembers time.
Testifying our glory.
They say I'm part of this and that, but who recorded where I'm at? I'm every hymn my people sang before this nation knew our name.
We remember the songs they wrote. We remember the words they spoke.
We remember the old and young.
The fight still lives in every tongue.
They tried to write us out the page,
but we remember
our truth don't age with time or cage.
We remember
the blood still moves from line to line.
We remember
every prayer becomes a sign.
We remember
the bayou winds in Carolina rain. We kept our roots
through joy and pain.
They built their test,
we built our tribe,
and the proof is still alive.
We remember the name they changed.
We remember
what they rearranged.
We remember
in heart and mind.
The blood remembers time.
We remember who we are.
We remember near or far.
Our spirit still. They can test this flesh and every name, every prayer, every sign, every name, every the blood remembers time.
For the ink, before the stamps, before the cities climb the land, there were faces left unclaimed when no one needed someone's name. Between the empire there was room, a quiet space the maps assume. Rivers bending without command, whole world's living off the land. Smoke from fires it hid and grow, paths only the people know. No throne above, no census hand, just living wide in the borderland. Where the map was blank and made a home,
Where the wind could move,
can the people roam? No chains or streets, no number plans. Life was breathing
in the borderland.
Then came the papers, then came the rule, then came the voices naming who is who. Lines appeared where none had been, boxes made for every skin. Land turned into deeds and claims, Neighbors turned to census names. The roads grew tight where forests stood. Brick and iron replaced the wood. And step by step the open land folded into city plain. Where the map was laid, we made a home where the wind could move, and the people roam. Now towers rise, the rivers ran, but the story started in the borderland. Freedom wasn't written down, it lived in ground beneath our feet. Before the courts could frame a word, the people shaped their own heartbeat. Now our children walk on pavement stone, never knowing fields once grown. But every song the choir sings opens that wide world again, because the land beneath the street still remembers every beat of lives once lived without command across the open borderlands. Where the map was laid, we made a home where the wind could move, and the people roam. You can build your walls and number the land where the spirit started in the borderland. Before the cities, before the plans, we were living in the borderlands.
Check. Yeah, tap in.
Oh man, listen here. Woo, Lord, Maranatha.
Yeah.
Peace to the party. You heard me? Shit, me. God, listen, Lord, Maranatha. Listen here. Shout out to the Gutter Mass Choir with another one. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, I like how Gutter Mass Choir, it picks certain joints that are very important in the culture of what we do to make a song out of the content so that people can really get the message. Like,
Exactly.
that's the point of having a choir in the mass speaking about being Gullah in the first place. You heard me? Redemption wise, you heard me? Because we are a restoration type of ministry when it comes to that type of information, and you know, we want to restore our folk in a maroon type of way, in the autonomous type of way, and people have to understand that moving in a maroon standpoint now today is moving in the autonomous type of way. But it's your boy Gullah Mac Ether, the autonomous party, Ali Nakmo. That's a autonomous term we got. You hear me? At the same time, which means the most highly exalted source. Nation people have to put mind over everything who are marooned on earth. You hear me? So make sure you tap in. The harsh reality is live life autonomously. It's the borderland for a reason. I think, this right here, because what we've been talking about in the last couple of weeks since we've been back from Maroonville, USA, you heard me? Across the nation. Because even though we showed you where we're at right here, I'm in Blueprint Recording Studios on Sistron, and we did the Maroonville weekend, you know what I mean, and made it a foundational thing in our city, right? I don't want y'all to think I'm gonna leave anybody left out that are tied to any towns like mine that have heritage tied to you. Well, you in the USA, we there's a whole bunch of black towns we could point out that have been redlined and a whole bunch of stuff happened to. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, so I think that we needed to set the bar, you know what I mean, on what it is about these autonomous situations. So I'm getting ready to go in a minute. I'm just gather my thoughts and get my mind right. But Monte, man, what you talking about earlier, I just want to address, because when you do the news, you know what I'm talking about, homeboy with the news. I just want to say to you, man, like that the dude with the clip with what's his name? See, I'm trying to keep I got too many thoughts in my head. But it was the clip that you
What they was
played
talking about?
with Joe Budden. That's what
Okay, yeah, and Mark Lamont Hill, yeah,
and stuff and misspeak.
yeah.
But it was Joe Budden and Buddy. I forget his name.
Mark Lamont Hill.
Yeah, him. And what he said when he said about, he is a citizen of America,
right?
But he might, and the way he addressed it, I don't want to be, word for word verbatim, but it came off as if, like, there's still energy from him. Even came off to me. That's just me, y'all. I'm just saying for me that he like, I'm a citizen of America, but I might not look at myself as fully American.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you get that, or is it just me?
Yeah, that's essentially what he was saying. Yeah.
Okay, I'm making sure I ain't tripping. Anybody in the chat, y'all got a different perspective from what he said when he said that? Because, I mean, it's one thing to understand we exiled in our own land. You know what I'm saying? And America, the term America predates 1776 and the people and our heritage being in America. You know what I'm saying? So from some of us, as again, we always try to be very open with this part of being American today in the ethnogenesis of what took place, good, bad, and ugly. You know what I mean? Because I ain't dodging no smoke with that. You know what I mean? Things happen, right? Life. You know what I mean? But when we talk about the context of the term America itself and the people and the mixtures of things that took place, indigenous, foreigners, etc., tied to that colonial imperial period, America has been coined prior to 1776, right? Am I tripping about that, Monte?
No, you on point.
All right, so being American is one thing, and who you now, government-wise or imperial system-wise, that are subscribing to you as a citizen, right? As a citizen, I think it's important that you understand that's the system of government. You know what I mean? Like, you're not autonomous with that. Like, that's them subjecting you not only on a social, political, economic, and cultural level, on a trust level as well. You're right. But all them points hit on a spectrum of things. You know what I mean? So we got to be like in light of understanding. You might not like the system of governance, just like we see in these other countries. Them people ain't liking their system of governance either.
Right.
Am I tripping? I mean,
nah, facts. But they still represent home. They just want different people. They want it done different. Same thing that we need to be on. It ain't the land, it's the governance that's happening. But that don't mean you let somebody else come and take us over, because nigga, what they gonna do gonna be a whole new ball game.
Right. Now, your whole culture, what you was doing, these people come in and say, nah, we ain't let you do that no more.
By law.
By law. And then it's still an imperial situation. Like, we can go back biblically and see how the term exile gola, as we showed y'all, is tied to that same understanding. And I think when people comprehend what even the biblical scripture is talking about of imperial systems, some people might call it a beast. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. I mean, and some people go far that way with it, but that beast is imperial systems. You know what I mean? From Babylon to Rome. And Rome's been the last referee, because they take some out the biblical time frame to what we be talking about to, funny enough, borderland communities, worldly, tied to that time frame, right? But let's look at now, could be in America. So that's the complexion of it. It's layered. It's not just flat. So you got to be understanding, even with history, the politics involved in the timeline, the different people in the region at the timeline, because you can't look at it from a more modern day standpoint of race, of what we look at it today with the imperial terms that we've now been indoctrinated with. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm on some borderland. You know what I'm talking about?
Hey, they be tripping me out when the FBA people say that's that tether talk.
He said that's tether talk. Hey, listen, Derek in the chat. Hey, them people don't like that word tether, boy.
They don't, boy. It's funny to me though. That is a good one.
That's one of them terms. The term tether right now. And I'm gonna give it to y'all FBA out there, y'all.
That's a good one, bro.
That's on y'all. Yeah. But y'all trigger people when you say tether, boy. Listen here, they be ready to fight on online when you say tether. It'd be like, you a tether. It'd be like, what? It'd be like almost like back in the day, white boy call you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A nigga. You heard me? I ain't scared to say it on this platform, but it is anyways. But okay, Mark Lamont Hill is different anyway. Yeah, he is different. But all of us are not all the same.
Yeah.
Even how we think or religious, food, everything. We can't say that everybody that's black classified imperially by this nation that you are a citizen of because you have heritage tied to imperial system, labeling you different terms over a time period to where we are now today in the ethnogenesis of it. Because some people want to, just like the Bible, some people take this part of the Bible and they use it and they throw everything else out. It's the same way with history in America of an imperial system. You got to take the good, bad, and the ugly of it. You know what I'm talking about?
It's something else too, man.
Unfortunately, as a citizen.
We've been programmed to think that they think America's the only one on an imperial system. Like,
no,
you know what I'm saying? Like, boy, do you know that anybody else who would defeat us and take the reins, they not finna come with no, everybody's free, niggas is indigenous, you don't gotta pay no taxes. Boy, it's gonna be worse.
Don't get me started with that.
They living in a fairy tale land, like, bro, there is no freedom from another nation. It's only gonna come from within, my boy.
It's a fairy tale going on when it comes to a lot of that. And I think a lot of people, because of the religious ideals of certain things, of thinking that some harmonious situation has been in place. And even, you know what I mean, going back secular or biblical history of nations and empires and people having conflict and conquering each other and putting other people in a subjected situation. Oh, man, listen here. We've been in a borderland position longer than you think. You heard me? Some of us in our history, but they ain't come out of nowhere. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, no group of people is a monolith. I 100% agree with that.
Yep.
Anybody that say that they are, that's why they're having problems now in these rooms debating about the ideal of everybody supposed to fall in line on a monolithic ideal of the cultures tied to the complexion of somebody's skin. You heard me?
Hey, and here go the thing. The literal monolith that they created is black. So I want to make sure.
That's the imperial monolith.
Exact. So they want us the way that we stereotype. That is the way they want black people to be. But real black people know that we are not a monolith. But if you go against the black popular narrative, that's when they're gonna hit you with them lashes and say, "Boy, you need to get back on that monolith talk."
What you doing? What you doing? Hey, what you doing?
You ain't supposed to be talking outside the box. We ain't approve that for the black phenotype, boy.
That part.
All right.
So either way, I want
let's run it.
That part. Yeah, let's just run it though. Again, we here at the party. The harsh reality is live life autonomously. Maranatha to everybody that's out there, and all the indigenous way we can say peace to you, and any other way we can say peace to you. That's what it is. Keep it Yasher and all that good stuff. It's about Gullah, redemption in the manner we use the word for with the party. Tap in. You got my first joint. Let's get it in. Borderlands.
Yeah,
so,
was it it looked like it's under the video you sent first.
I think because people keep it current, go with the video. Let's go with the video first real quick.
I'm gonna play now.
All right. I love her clip, bro.
Hey, no, that was fine. She put together, bro.
She was on point, man, with that right there. Mm-hmm. I'm like, shout out, very eloquent. You know what I'm talking about? She put that together. Ooh, that was smooth. Hey, and you better caught it. Like hopefully you caught what it is. See, I wanted to open with the woman saying what she's saying, covering towns. So my next joint, though. I think I put it in order after that. Hold on, make sure.
Yeah, let's see.
Let me see what I got here. The first one, I think.
Because what it says, the black massacres in the U.S. That's what
we're
doing.
Go number 2. You know what I'm talking about on the list. Oh, this bill tonight. You know what I'm talking about. We live with it, so y'all gonna have to catch how y'all catch it. Hopefully, Borderlands. But we're gonna get into the thick of it because I want to show you some things before the PowerPoint come in. You know what I'm saying? And y'all get, I started this rolling. All right, so now y'all obviously seen this plenty of before, right? I know in the consciousness to say or black community.
Definitely, I've seen this.
America, you've heard about these places that were black towns and massacres took place. Now I know it sounds horrific, right? She just got through talking about towns being drowned. They're lakes now. They're not even, as far as the town goes, it's in somebody's heritage today. You can say, I had people from that area and they had to flee. You know what I'm talking about? From that area and go into another area because of what they did for the benefit of the community. As you said. in their development, manifest destiny, right? See, all that's tied to this, and their manifest destiny, and how it impacted the people that's tied to the term being called Black, Negro, colored in America. You know what I mean? And that's generally speaking when I say it like that. So, Springfield, 1908. You see all these different places. Chicago, 1919. You see the timeline. 1866, Memphis. That's right after emancipation. You know what I'm talking about? There's a massacre taking place in Memphis right after emancipation during the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. You know what I'm saying about?
Bro, Louisiana had 5, bro.
Yeah, look at that. You see that? Colfax. I'm going over there. Look. Colfax, 1873. Actually, the oldest one is 1868. That's going to be right after what? Right, that's going to be right after what? The 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is
when they was bucking because they didn't want the 14th Amendment to be passed, and then coincidentally, this is when a whole leadership was getting changed. This when everything happened during these massacre time frames.
Yeah, actually, you know, and it's crazy because Louisiana has 5. You think about all the other places on the map. Just to point y'all out, you know what I mean, from out of Louisiana.
We got more than everybody.
Y'all got more than anybody, right? You see that? That's just 1868 is the oldest one. Actually, go back down where it says
now Memphis the oldest period.
But I'm saying St. Bernard Parish.
In
Louisiana.
Thibodeau same time. Same time.
New Orleans, 1866.
Oh yeah.
I'm tripping.
So New Orleans and Memphis was first. New Orleans and Memphis was first.
Yeah, look at that though. You know what I mean? This is all happening from the spark of 1865. These towns and these massacres, right? And then you got to also look at other towns that later in the time periods of North America that aren't on this map, by the way, because there's others.
Right.
It's others that are not on this map today.
These just the major ones.
You know what I mean? But this is the time period, the major ones of this crazy. No, look, Charleston 2015. That's I think that's the most recent massacre, they call it.
Oh damn, we skipped New York. My bad. New York was first.
1883,
yeah.
Well, yeah, we did skip New York. My bad, y'all. Yep. I apologize. I was in the South though. See, I was looking at the South.
It was on that Southern supremacy shit, but they gotta give them their credit.
Hey, listen, gangs in New York. They've been banging. You hear me? Shout out to y'all up north and y'all some of y'all liberal ways against the system at that time, at the same as now though. But 1863, that right there is there. You hear me? Like so, all these areas that are bucking and having problems, and the massacres are taking place because of the system. You know what I mean? You slide down a little bit so they can get the context more. You can throw it in the chat. You ain't gonna read the whole thing. Just to give an example, when she brought up, you know what I mean, towns drowned. You know what I mean? I'm thinking. So it says, as million voices joined the chorus, shout out to Gullah Mass Choir, declaring that Black Lives Matter, as COVID-19 disproportionately afflicts Black communities. As President Trump holds a rally on the hallowed ground that was Black Wall Street, we need to do the work of uncovering America's suppressed history of Black massacres. Massacres are the violence inherent to white supremacy, unleashed in full force, unfold scores of Black lives. These massacres have largely been erased from the public consciousness. You heard me? So I'm always going to bring consciousness to something I know publicly is being buried or drowned, like the lake. You heard me? I got to make sure I had to throw this in there because of how it's tied to these borderland areas that are, you know what I mean, still around. But some of these ain't survived, or even people moved from was thriving even in those time periods in these areas called Black areas, you know what I mean, because of what was taking place.
There was also great migration time frame. So these massacres have happened and people moving to go somewhere else.
That whole part, right?
Yeah, like you say, the formula of the KKK.
All that right there. All that's in that time frame too. Woodrow Wilson. Remember, I just pointed. Some people like, oh man, it was all the presidents. I said, okay, all the presidents, cool. We don't have to like them. Like the dude Lamont, he don't have to be liking this being a citizen, but American. That's what. So he benefit from the good parts of it too, right? But at the same time,
that he able to sit on their podcast and make money, and they don't lock his ass up.
That part. Freedom of First Amendment, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Because you couldn't do that in Iran.
Hey, yeah, exactly. See, we're doing right now. We couldn't even do that over there.
Yeah, so they be talking. Yeah, they don't understand.
I'm just saying, in the current ethnogenesis of where we at now today, you know what I'm talking about?
That don't mean it ain't no work to be done.
Oh no,
But
we got way
can't
more
lie.
privilege. Get more
Yeah, but we
things
can't
done.
lie about certain stuff either now.
Yeah, as citizens of the country, nation, we call them United States of America. Again though, massacres are the violence inherent. We read that though.
Yeah,
See,
you read it. Yeah.
So you can keep it moving though. I think
All
I don't really. This shows the same thing. That's in
Yeah.
the link. You can throw it in there. Everybody can read it for themselves. They ain't ever.
Yeah, it's in the chat.
All right, bet money. We can slide that. All right, so towns drowned, massacres taking place. Rosewood is one of them, right? Rosewood. Remember this. I want y'all to remember Rosewood for a reason too on this map, and the area that it showed you on the map. And you know, yeah, what territory that gonna be later on is gonna come into play. And other towns that might not be mentioned, like I said, 'cause it's a lot of places they're not even mentioning on that map. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But either way, slide. Let's keep it slide. Angola, in Florida wasn't mentioned. You know what I mean? And it was there. Fort Negro wasn't mentioned. It wasn't there. You know what I mean? These are a lot of black towns that weren't mentioned in history, but still, just to give y'all something to trace from. Let's go to number 2 though. What we got next?
Number 2.
The second one I think is I think I actually went into the.
We just did black massacres, so it'll do that borderline map.
Yeah, the borderline map. Let's show them the borderline map. Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you. All right, so boom. I did a little breakdown. Just you see right here, just make sure y'all see. This version preserves the town names and years shown on the source image. You see that? Obviously, we show you right there all these areas. You can slide. You know what I mean? Cute little slide presentation. Boom. Towns grouped from the map. All right. So Midwest, Northeast, Atlantic South. Right. So the Midwest, Northeast, they're gonna give you all these areas. You see all the major cities as well as smaller areas that we might call it today, not city boy, county boy type vibe from where I'm from. That's how we call it. But OCO might be a county area today. It's not like a big city, right? Rosewood, or even Wilmington, people might look at it as a big city. You know what I mean? But at that time period, though, listen, don't sleep.
It would have been.
Yeah, in 1898. You see what I'm saying? That's a
right.
All right. Okay. So now, obviously Atlanta, y'all still popping to this day. Is how many people moved into this area. It became a major black hub as it is today. So East St. Louis, I know to this day. Shout out to many people out of Louis, St. Louis. You heard me that y'all deep still out there too. You heard me? I ain't on front. Detroit, Chicago, we already know. New York, Philadelphia, all that area right there. Washington, Springfield. We can slide down. Now these are towns that survived this. Your ancestors survived these things that we just got through talking about. Things getting drowned and massacres taking place. KKK and all that. You heard me?
Because they was really going after specific people.
Yeah, politics.
They weren't trying to get rid of everybody. They were trying to get rid of the power structure.
Politics, white and black, who are not aligning with them, seeing what's taking place economically in these areas that we call them borderland tonight, y'all. You know what I mean? Borderland. So towns grouped from the map. Lower South and Gulf Coast is another area. See that? Look, Lower South. These names you probably never heard of besides Memphis and been Tulsa. How many y'all? Elaine, 1919, Clinton, Chameleon.
Yeah, I know about Clinton.
People most, might not know about it. So I'm just
if you ain't from these areas,
you ain't from it, you might not, St. Bernard Parish, like we showed on the map. People don't know about these, but these are Slocum.
Slocum, Thibodeau, Opelousas.
Berg. You know what I mean? These are names people might today not even, the ethnogenesis where we at in big cities today where black people at. We might not look at these areas prominent, but if you look at from a black Wall Street, like an economic ideal of things happening and people doing their thing, politics, economics, culture, you know what I mean? Trade, all that happening. This is what's going on in these areas. It's not just, just some black folk here and some white folk. No. It's some business. It's a monopoly taking place. You heard me? Negro rule, as Amos would say. Shout out to Amos when he covered Wilmington, actually, where that slogan came from with Negro rule. So we're gonna slide down. You know what I mean? Keep sliding. All right, boom. So these are all the inventory I got from the reference of the map. So that's why I want to make sure I put it clear for y'all. So it's right there. Just briefly show it. You can keep sliding.
That's the last one over here.
That's all right. Boom. We keep it moving. So my next one is See, I'm trying to get to the thick of things. So the fourth one I think I picked was I showed a picture of Let's Raise the Glass. This is because this time period, this is how they were dressing, so people can get a context of where it said Let's Raise the Glass, and people Monopoly. You hear me? They were on some Borderlands shit though, and them people that were massacring them. This is how these people were dressing in the 1860s, going into the Emancipation Proclamation and right after. You hear me? This is what they were doing. You know, this is
Player shit.
You talking about? Mm-hmm.
That'd be my cigar ass, nigga.
Top hats and barren shit. You heard me?
Mm-hmm.
These are landowner folk. These don't look like some people that were sharecropping, pay with cotton, do they?
Mm-hmm.
Do they look like coming out of picking cotton?
No, not at all.
They in the northeast area though. See, that's that northeast area they in. Most of these
boys got a white butler.
Listen here now. I want you to see. Hey, Messy Nessie, you did one with this one. All right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, they gonna clean up the table themselves though, Messy. Yeah, so yes indeed. Long before desegregation, America had a black middle class that was thriving alongside pockets, borderland, of the white elite. It says if you look hard enough, you can dig up historical photographs of what they call us today, African Americans, dressed in tuxedos and top hats, driving high society cars, and running busy financial offices. There are images that are all too unfamiliar, seemingly presenting an alternative version of Black history, far removed from the Jim Crow horror stories and civil rights struggle we've always been shown. But for the brief window in history, Black Wall Street was headed for a very interesting future. And this is obviously showing how they were dressing out there in Oklahoma. Talking about, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
These both be engines in the removal and all that going on out there, right?
Oh yeah.
Coming out of, you know what I'm saying? Think about this, Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
And also in that little Durham, shout out to North Carolina.
It's Durham right here, this picture,
right.
Yeah.
VA and Oklahoma. See, it's showing you not just one. It says Durham, North Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, Tulsa, Oklahoma. These are the 3 American cities at the center of this story. You see what I'm saying? So it's letting you know it's not happening where? In just one place.
Right.
It's regional. These folks dressing, doing their thing in these areas. You heard me? Coming out of 1865. Massacres, all these things happening, but these folks dressing up, everybody ain't picking cotton. You heard me?
Bro, look what she looked like. And they be more interested in telling our history than us.
It's crazy that Messy Nessie did this though. That's why I gave her a shout out though.
Yeah, facts.
But they gonna say about it. I don't know. I ain't being liberal. I'm just the sources, and I'm like, yeah, we got this information, so I had to just go ahead and give it credit. If she covered it, it is what it is, because that's what's happening, and obviously in these borderland territories going into 1865. Everybody ain't the picture we've been given. You know what I mean? Of it ain't really what we know.
It ain't what it is.
Right.
Just
But it's good to use it in propaganda to keep a certain group of people thinking that they're all supposed to be of that monolith of identity of the struggle going into these periods, because still our people are ignorant to the politics and sometimes economics of this nation that they're citizens of. You heard me?
Ooh, so this one right here is fire.
Yeah, look at that though.
North Carolina Mutual.
Mutual.
This up a little bit more.
Insurance company, by the way.
Yeah, one of the biggest. Ooh, fire.
Look at that. Borderlands.
That's how I felt when I had my suit on, boy.
You showed up to Tamarack,
I felt like I was back in the day, bro, handling business.
For sure, though. It literally, when you see these men, though, you hear me? All right. Segregation, all that right there happening right now, right?
Mm-hmm. I've seen this one before.
You seen this one before?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a mixed group of people. They don't all look like but they all consider colored, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Buddy right here, definitely white.
Yeah,
top left.
Hey, he's a white guy. He would be a white guy. He would be a Spanish looking, actually. And
you got 3 for sure that's gonna go as black, no matter what. And then you got these 4, the 2 on both sides. They can go for.
They're gonna be considered colored folk too now. You hear me? I'm gonna let y'all know they consider colored folk. So
Ooh, this fire right here.
Yeah, they show you some pictures of this borderland territory shit.
What it is, bro?
It's a bank. You see this sitting in front of the bank?
St. Luke Penny and Savings Bank.
You see that? Fresh, ain't it?
Look at everybody.
Soups and look bow ties.
You feel me?
Look at
Come
everyone.
on, man. Come on, man. I gotta stop playing, bro. Hold on.
It's the Borderland. It's that Borderland maroon shit. You heard me? They doing their thing though. You know what I'm talking about? They economically is autonomous to the mud though, at that level. What they doing? That's autonomous shit right there though. I don't care what anybody say. You be mad at me. Hey, listen, you might always want to look at the bad and ugly of your people, but you gotta highlight the good. You know what I'm talking about?
The bad that's come now was to get rid of all this here. There's the mindset to make you do these type of things. We damn sure not doing it now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hey, Kevin Willis said in the chat, he said, it's ironic that Tulsa borders Cherokee, etc. Like, yeah, Rez, well, just like how down where I'm at, you know what I mean? My area, my people from borders, the Seminole Reservation, they set up federally speaking recently, you know what I mean, in the 20th century. But in the same way, in Tulsa at that time, yeah, because of the treaties and certain things, that's why people will, we call it border hopping. You got mixtures and certain things too, and you doing business in these areas, like you know that it's jurisdiction, and United States ain't got the full, you know, it's an unincorporated land and incorporated land. Is it the city or is it the county? You hear me? Different things that they can cover. Like back in the day with Dukes of Hazzard, and they were road running. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that part. They never show that. They never show. As we showing you, this was interesting. I had to make sure I put it out there like that, though. Borderland, monopoly, you heard me? Banking, savings, insurance companies. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they were doing business.
Ooh, this right here is fire.
Look at fancy cars.
I'm about to pull up suicide doors on that.
Talking about? What do you mean, though? That's that Borderland right there. That's that Borderland. Look at that.
At that time, we got some gold BBSs on that.
What you talking about? You see that, bitch? Hey, everybody stop playing, though.
Come on, boy. I got the drop top out here on these.
There's too many good joints on this one, man. Let them get this too. Yeah, because this one, I was like, I got caught up too looking at this joint. I'm like, boy, raise the glass, y'all heard me? Raise the glass for them right there.
That's what she called it. She said, let's raise the glass.
Them Negroes at the time frame and the imperial system doing what they're doing. But see, that's going a picture of massacre right there. You see that right there? Go back up to the next picture right there. See how that smoke? It's going to be tied to certain things that were happening too. You heard me? And yeah.
And that's why they wanted to target all these cities. So they created these borderlands that was created and sustained, and they had to get rid of these hoes to force you into these ghettos to get you off the land.
That part. So now, before we go in, let's give them ghetto. Let's go ahead and give them ghetto, because these areas weren't ghetto, and there was no such thing as them really being ghetto, being when black folk were having all this wealth and controlling autonomously the economic corridor of the situation. You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure people understand. It was an interesting part of history that has to be understood on the show tonight. You know what I'm talking about? This word ghetto don't belong to people even called Negroes, originally speaking, by the way. You know what I mean? So I had to, it was interesting. It's like, see, this is multi-layered, you know what I'm talking about? Like the Borderlands are multi-layered. This urban ghetto terminology we use today, and the origins of it. So it's tied to what we call they call some of our urban centers, you know what I'm talking about, ghettos, because of the history and heritage of people who have been in them areas going back to pre-1865 and stuff like that, right? And they've been able to survive and thrive and go through all the things they went through in these neighborhoods with all the things that took place in American culture going into 1865 and all. You heard me? Easy work. Prior to that, and we're gonna show you how far back this go though in history, right? Of Negroes being in borderland territories. However, though, make that a little bit bigger. Can you make that bigger? Cataracts. You know what I'm talking about? I don't want to. There we go. We in business now. All right, boom. So the term ghetto originates from the Renaissance Italy. All right. So you know what I mean? I like maybe that's why I like chicken parmesan. You know what I'm talking about? And meatballs and calamari and stuff. It might be that part of something in my flashback of history, the taste buds, whatever. It's specifically, I'm tripping. See, cataracts. The city of Venice. I'm telling you, that Venice chicken they make. That's what the Parmesan. Anyways, in 1516, Venetian. Oh, the tile and everything called Venetian. If you don't have it in your house, I don't know. Okay, government required the Jewish population. See, Jewish population to live in a confined district called ghetto, with the Greek thing on the end. Nuovo. Data reference.
Whoa.
Novo. New. Like that's what I mean. New. If you didn't know. New. All right. So the location had previously been an industrial area. See, industrial borderland. Containing iron foundries. See, it's borderland. It's economics being taken place. The Venetian dialect word ghetto. You know what I'm talking about? A jettel. You know what I mean? A metal foundry or casting site. When Jews were restricted to that island district, the existing place name became associated with the segregated community. Over time, the word ghetto spread throughout Europe and later took on a broader meaning as we know it today. It just give y'all the foundation of the origin. I want to make sure y'all got that though. You heard me now. You see the origin. It says number one, Venetian origin, 1516. Then it spread across where? Not Africa. Look, so Africa got nothing to do with the word ghetto
at all.
Just for y'all Africans out there. See, that's why.
Or America. At this
Black folk in America use the word ghetto. We ain't get it from Africa. We got it from them European. Oh yeah, them black and more. Okay. Anyways, yeah. Spread across Europe after Venus established the system. Other European cities created similar segregated. See, like in America, we got segregated. We went through that, right? But over in that history of it, that's why the ghetto thing became known to us in America and how we took it on. See how that in the borderland same game being played. You know what I mean? This new ghetto, Novo ghetto. You heard me? In America, that was used in correlation, but it's really tied to this right here though, in this area right here. So Rome, look, matter of fact, give them Rome. After Venice established the system, other European cities created similar segregated quarters for Jewish populations. Cities such as Rome, Frankfurt, Prague, and Warsaw adopted the term ghetto to describe these districts. By the 18th and 19th centuries, the word generally referred to Jewish residential quarters within European cities. All right, now, let you know, right? These people, all right, that's just the history. Ghetto. Because ghetto don't belong to us originally. See, I don't know how Eddie Murphy, Trading Places, I don't know how that came in place. You know what I mean? But either way, during the 20th century, especially during World War II, the term gained global recognition when Nazi Germany forced Jews into sealed districts known as ghettos, such as the Warsaw Ghetto. In modern English usage, the word expanded to describe urban. This is where we come into place here in America, y'all. Urban, the borderland urban communities in America, y'all. That's how we got the word ghetto. Characterized by economic hardship, social isolation, or ethnic segregation. And that's what our folk went through. See, that's our heritage tied. Some people like to say slavery. I like to say exile. You know what I'm talking about? I like to say exile.
Yep.
So that's what it is, though. So within that, go slide down. We're gonna slide down. I mean, this is giving this the that's what that is, though. Straight up, though. You know what I mean? I mean, there it is, though. What y'all think, right? You see it right there? Make sure y'all got the ghetto part. All right, we can slide to the next one then. If y'all got it, y'all cool. It's there. Let it sit there. Let it marinate. Okay, we good. Let's slide.
All right.
Let them have that. Oh, we in Borderland right there. We in America, though, ain't it? So we done showed you the ghetto where it come from. And today, again, see, the people called Negroes in America were already in America with Indigenous and other things happening in these borderland situations prior to, because even the people in America prior to 1492 who lived a certain lifestyle in North America when it was called North America by outside people, right? I ain't on front, but as we have adopted this term America from that time frame, we have to understand that urban centers are tied to the moundology understanding of things. You know what I mean? The mound builders. Because the mound builders.
And I can read this one, bro, whenever you're ready.
Give it to them. Yeah, slide on.
Yeah, no, you were saying about the mound builder because they need to understand.
But the mound builder situation is showing that prior to 1492, there was historical prevalence of these mounds being something obviously different from what they look like now. We call them mounds, and how those civilizations were an urbanized ideal of living. They didn't migrate everywhere and move. They were standardized in those regions where those mounds are located, tied to indigenous groups of people. You know what I'm talking about? Aboriginal groups of people. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. And
they all
for y'all who been with us.
Corridor, the southeast
exactly.
Corridor, the SEC.
Go refer to that map. Hold on.
You can go to that mound joint if you want to real quick. You go to the mound SEC joint and show how that's the whole area where that most of that is happening. You can freestyle that. That's easy. And it's going, it should show you how these people know.
Right here.
It so happens that same region is where we see what we've been showing this before. Ain't nothing new.
Yep.
Should be understood how things overlap over time. Borderland, you heard me? And how things develop, right? In the borderland areas of trade in these same areas right here. You see how they did that? Do it again. Look at that, boy.
Same areas.
Borderland, you heard me?
Well, all the towns. We keep popping up here more. We popping up here more than anybody else. And they kind of tell us that we was brought here when we got the most proof of us being here.
Brought here just because the complexion of your skin is crazy work in the first place. So we ain't gonna even play that game tonight. You heard me? We know. Remember the dude that came to the presentation? He said 1,000 years since people came down, right?
Yeah.
Well, the mounds predate that.
Easy.
So you're already saying to us that you're not the people that built the mounds. Because I know where I'm at right now, even though it's popular that we know Mikasuki, shout out to them, no discrimination or nothing. You heard me? I ain't got time for all that anyways. You know what I mean? I'm just saying the truth. Tequesta territory, you heard me? The mounds down here tied to Tequesta, down here in this area, down at the bottom, we call South Florida today. Miami Circle, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm. You heard me? All that's Tequesta territory. So at the end of the day, this right here, overlapping things happen, right? Just like how today now people say, you come down as a tourist and say, oh, it's the federal Seminole Miccosukee people down there. But the mounds ain't built by them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see them too, right? All right, now.
Yeah, they definitely here. They becoming now.
I guess they
national monuments.
Disappeared though. Them urban centers, right? That was raided by the people that came in. We're gonna talk about that next week.
And built these new cities in these same areas that was already cultivated and ready for that type of investment. There's a reason why people was living in these areas. They knew these was a certain land masses where you want to be at for optimal use. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, it's crazy. You see how you just did that map switch right there? The dynamic of looking at the map that way and showing the development, the ethnogenesis of this region, and you go show the mounds and this. Are you serious? Wait, what are you saying right now to me? You know, look at this shit. Overlapping. Look at that. Like, it's crazy work. Anyway, so I mean, I'm just all right then. Either way, Borderland. You heard me? That's because as things develop, things happen. You know what I mean? Power. Yeah, God agree and say power centers.
Power centers. Exactly.
We know that them same urban plazas are the places that people indigenously built these areas, knowing they survived this, or they could also are places located where you can gather
it's
this.
It's good for commerce. It's good for this. As they knew.
It's set up. It's like how the people that went into West Africa talking about they were going after the gold and the Guinea. They were like, oh, this is the areas where the gold is. This is where you got to go. The ports. It's the same thing. It's all right. We're gonna do that again. But either way, let's get to this.
All right, I got it. So borderland, urban, and ghetto, historical connections. The terms borderland, urban, and ghetto describe different kinds of social and geographic spaces. Historically, these spaces often overlap because they arise from migration, empire expansion, and systems of segregation. 1. A borderland. Borderlands are regions located between political powers, empires, or cultural territories. Authority in these zones is often weak or contested. Such areas historically attracted migrants, traders, fugitives, and maroon communities. So then 2, you got your urban space, which is urban environments or cities characterized by dense population, commerce, infrastructure, and formal governance. Cities often attract populations from surrounding rural or frontier regions. Then you got the ghetto. A ghetto is a segregated district within a city where certain populations are concentrated through legal restriction, economic pressure, or social segregation. All right, so then it's showing you the concept of a borderland is a frontier in between. All right, then it's just basically a graph of everything that was said. So historically, many populations move through a sequence: migration into borderlands, movement into cities, and eventual residence in segregated districts within urban areas. So that part right there is key, because you can just start with your Trail of Tears.
That part.
That's your migration into the borderlands.
And that's a land that was designated you, right?
Correct.
It's those who say who went there, right? I'm not.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
And so everybody so perfect example. I got people that went out of Alabama. They came to North Louisiana, Shreveport, eventually to settle. But it was during the Trail of Tears time frame. And they specifically came to Louisiana. Like, they didn't stop on the trail. They knew they was coming to Louisiana the whole time, because they came and had land. So that wasn't no coincidence.
Right.
So, and then that was in the country though. Ended up going into Shreveport, which is the big city in North Louisiana. And then some people, based on their class, had to go to the projects. You see what I'm saying? Because at first the neighborhoods was white people in them neighborhoods. That's the hoods now, was mostly white people neighborhoods. It's how it is in a lot of places in the South. Most of what they call the hood now used to be white people neighborhoods outside of like the projects.
But you see, that's the craziest part too, is because it's almost as if, all right, these people came in based off their migration pattern into these areas that Martin Luther King was talking about, right? As far as how Homestead Acts that took place. See what I'm saying? That allowed these people to come in and get a leg up to get into these areas and move based off their immigration and then migration into areas of North America later on as we know it. That, he was being addressed in the civil rights era. But in the same standpoint of us going into the ideal of history in the context of now, oh, wait, you guys moved because now you've seen that the majority of these populations that were even over here, as the standard of the economy comes up and people can afford to move into the nicer areas that y'all developed, and you see people moving into it because now you can't keep them out of it. You know what I'm saying? That's when you see the crossover take place. You heard me? And shout out to you, the families that did it. You heard me? Like, you're not going to keep us kept in this ghetto, you know what I mean, ideal of something as if this is where our people only are from, when we know good and well that our migrations were taking place prior to others. You heard me?
Yeah.
They even immigrated into America, period. I'm talking about mostly people that don't look like us. I ain't even talking about the people that look like us, because our federal system didn't let them people come into these areas and cross any borderland until a certain time frame. We should know that too. So let's keep it simple. You heard me? I'm talking about.
And now we got a reverse migration. So we got us leaving these urban areas to go live in the suburbs, and then they coming back. The big companies is coming back to buy these urban areas.
That part.
And now we don't have a foothold in the suburbs or a foothold in the urban areas.
No, we ain't got none.
We're just consumers on both levels.
It's a problem that I don't think people really fully addressing, because today we're not looking at it from this, I guess, how we trying to present it right now tonight. Borderland, you heard me? If anybody like, the game Monopoly, you know what I'm saying? It's the border around the game. You got to move around that border. You heard me? You know what I'm saying? To even get into the ideal of being in the center of it, you got to basically control the border. You heard me?
Yep.
Around you, it's protecting the center. That's from a political, economic, and also setting up frontier zones as a border, a buffer, as some people like also use. The Spanish used it. We talked about that before with how the Black Seminoles became that buffer zone that Dr. Dixon spoke about from 1639, and how people were fleeing across the border into a different jurisdiction and became a buffer zone. And their people, they knew that their people had also still ties to the buffer zone area of the 13 colonies, but they knew that the 13 colonies couldn't fully stretch and control these regions closer to the border zone because of the jurisdiction.
Yeah.
If you're playing the border, you heard me? And you getting your trade on, and you got your mixtures of people doing their thing within their ideal of autonomous ideals of moving at this time frame. You know what I mean? And also will be labeled, maroon community. So what's next? What we got next? I think we did pretty good with covering a lot of that. You know what I mean? And hopefully y'all are seeing that though in this Borderland conversation to open up it. I mean, we showed all the I think I had another one, but I think this is my next thing is gonna be history. Matter of fact, so we can spend the last joints on history actually. You know what I mean? I don't think we I'm looking at it right now. We can cover that. We live, y'all. See, I do it just like that. I get my presentation. Communities. Is that it? Oh yeah. That's what I want to do. We're gonna get like 5 minutes for this, right? You know what I mean? Cause see, I'm Borderland, everything Borderland though. You heard me? Maroon shit though. You heard me? This is your areas, urban centers. They call them ghettos. You know what I mean? Some of them might be historical, right? Because they're preserving them based on vacation taking place right now. Like where, you know what I mean, Monte, you came and seen Sistron, or my people in Hollywood, Liberia, or Broadway, Liberty City. You know what I'm saying? And they're historical places, but they're in a borderland situation right now. And that's current. You heard me? That's what's happening right now. And that's happening state to state, as some people like to say. Method Man said it back in their own belly. State to state. So the term Borderland Maroons, that's why we know the Tom's Party giving you this exclusive, right? Refers to communities of escaped enslaved people, as they would say, who form independent societies. See, that's the important that you need to focus on. Independent societies in frontier zones where competing empires collapsed or overlap. I say collapse. That's the maroon thought. Overlap. And these regions were called borderlands because Spanish, British, French, Indigenous, and later American jurisdictions intersected, making centralized control difficult. It's just that's the thing that's not on black and white. They can say it, but they ain't really got it type thing. People, front all the time. You ain't got it in your hand.
That's what was going on with the state. So the reason why that whole Civil War, everybody that was with the South and really all the states period was like, bro, we already got our own autonomy. We don't want no big old federal government telling us what to do. We got this going our own way. This was the whole beef, bro.
We over here doing our thing, no getting our business. You know what I mean? Okay, we in this state jurisdiction, but we over here doing this in the state, in this township, them townships, right? And we got our system, and they ain't coming over here to bother us. They know what it is when they come over here. You know what I'm talking about now? Oh, but okay, them people, we don't got nothing to do. I got some family, they're gonna have to come over here then, ain't it? Slide over here then, ain't it? To this urban area. However, this it says frontier zones, right? This is why I want to make sure. And it says, again, these regions were called borderlands. You heard me? All right, Borderland Maroon, Monopoly shit, you heard me? On this side. And it says Spanish and all that right there. Come down. What borderland means? A borderland was not simply a line on a map. So I'll make sure you understand. When you cross over, like how we showed you how the mounds were in these areas, and they became, through ethnogenesis in America, areas we would call borderland / urban / ghetto areas that black towns drowned, massacred, and things took place. Funny enough. That's what it is. You know what I mean? So that's what that is. Shout out to Little Fella. Within this context, borderland region, empires involved. Like, look, man, so when y'all research this on your own independent, autonomous time, within the sources be showing you, in this presentation, look at it from this perspective, I would say. Even looking at where your people migrated from within the last 100 years. You know what I'm saying? Look at it from that migration standpoint, because your people moved too because of things that were taking place for better opportunities or fleeing or whatever the case might be. But either way, borderland region, Florida, Georgia frontier, which I'm going to show an example of tonight before we slide, Spanish and British. Louisiana, French, Spanish versus British. Carolina frontier, British versus indigenous nations. Texas, Spanish versus indigenous polities. You see I said polities in that last one?
Mm-hmm.
Polities, right? Politics, you heard me? They, even them in that area already have a different idea of how they doing things from how even the indigenous nations are doing things in the Carolina. Or even the indigenous people that are up there in the Northeast with the Continental Congress going into 1776. Everybody that's indigenous ain't a monolith. You heard me? They ain't all doing the same thing. We're going to go into that next week, Mo. We're going to see, because this thing getting, y'all trying to fit everybody into a race because of this terminology y'all using.
It's because of what they know, but it ain't the truth.
Yeah, you're going to use these terminology, get caught up in this race trap. It's a marathon. Maroon. This right here, though, number 2, that's it. Spanish Florida. Our Spanish Florida became a refuge for escaped enslaved peoples. We covered that with Black Seminoles and all that. So number 3, you know what I mean? Oh, look, see, right again, Seminole, Maroon alliances. That can't take place without the whole region of these borderlands. All right, the Great Desert Swamp. You're gonna go north, Virginia, North Carolina. Thousands of fugitives lived in hidden communities inside the Great Desert Swamp from 1700s all the way into the 1800s. These are Maroon, buffer zone, borderland communities. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Gulf Coast borderlands. The Gulf Coast and Louisiana region was another major borderland zone where Spain, France, Britain, indigenous nations, and later the United States competed for territory. Maroon communities formed in swamps and river systems and sometimes migrated into Mexico for refuge. You heard me? That's why that Texas thing became a polity, then with different groups of people who took refuge in a place we call Texas today, because Texas used to be what? Mexico. So why the borderlands Maroons matter? Borderland Maroons were not just fugitives. They were created as stable communities with farming, trade, networks, and military organization. Many lasted decades or even centuries and negotiated treaties with colonial governments. Mm-hmm. Borderland. They ain't no runaway shit with this. See, because some people say when we put this maroon American maroon on our shirt, Monte, like your shirt tonight, and we represent, they try to say, oh, y'all were runaways? What do you mean, bro?
Nah. That's the name they was given, labeling it.
Like, are you going with the label? Are you going with the white with the imperial system? I ain't gonna say white. See, I'm gonna say imperial.
Yeah, imperial, because that's giving it too much power.
Because if you're going with the imperial system, you might be a house nigga. Because I ain't no runaway. Because I set up my own shit. If I decide not to work for them and do my own thing, don't make me a runaway. The hell? Wait, so today people talk about be an entrepreneur. So if you ran away from your 9 to 5 right now and set up your own business, you a runaway now? I guess you ain't borderland. Come on now, listen here. Run the border. You heard me? Run the border. Pass go, get to the paper. Every time you click pass go, you get money, right? Monopoly. Play the border, get some real estate, right? That's borderland shit. You set up system, all right? Get your people a community insurance company. Oh, set up the hospital, wealth, right?
And that's the same way we can do it now. So now it can be done on a city basis, a county basis. Start somewhere. You feel me?
Where you get your county, in your city, or in your small town, as they would say, borderland, you fall into the category in urban understanding of how we say it as American Maroons today. And it's only us that have the heritage to go back and see where the Negro surnames and everything's colored folk, whatever you want to go with in these time frames of imperial systems, might have been calling y'all from a systematic standpoint, but you got to go into detail of what your family were doing in these borderland areas or these buffer zone areas or these frontier zones. You know what I mean? So that's like something that I think is very prevalent within the conversation of people doing their genealogy or tracing their heritage tied to the genealogy or everything tied to, because migration systems and everything in America matters too. I think we downplay it, you know what I'm saying? Because we really don't understand how to trace it because we get caught up in the race and not the marathon. Maroon. You hear me? So that's what I want to point out. But that's it for that, right? I mean, so
yeah.
I got the last part we're gonna slide on. See, I did pretty good. I like how you put that there first, though. All right, so leave it right there. Make that. Can you make that bigger?
And this one won't go that much bigger, but let's see something.
Excuse me, children. I apologize. If I in French, I apologize because that's a cuss word. Let's go with the state of Muskogee. You heard me?
Hmm? State
of Muskogee. I sent you the joint dealing with the department,
right.
the government website joint. Yeah. Make it that big. You can make that big, all right. I want them to know it's tied to Florida. Florida put it on the record. That's a border zone. That's a border zone area. They got a flag and everything. I want you to show how a border zone territory and how it's been set up. You might not hear about it. They only tell you about the. Because that's why Muskogee though. You hear me? That's why. Shout out to the Muskogee. See, I wanted to do something. I knew it was gonna fit into the content. So next week I'm leaving this there. So next week you'll pull up on me. I'm gonna have a little something to add on to this part right here. So wink, wink. That's why I'm gonna use them as the highlight. You heard me? And it's gonna be a show of continuous development of how this Muskogee word come about and how the people in these border zone areas between the French, the Spanish, and the British and everything, and how these areas from an economic and political thing are happening, right? And how even this person, by the way, who's gonna be tied to this, we're gonna show his face based off what I guess they generated, but I'm gonna give you his name, and he's right here actually. English adventurer, William Augustus Bowles. All right, if you ain't know about him, we brought him up before. You know what I'm talking about? Know about him, learn more about him. Designed this flag. He designed the flag, right? Now he's a British loyalist, by the way. That's right, I said it. He a British loyalist. You know what I'm talking about? That fled after certain things that happening with the British in the United States of America, and he's in the Southeast, and he amongst the indigenous and other groups of people. He like, look, this is what we gonna do here. Look, you ready to do something? This is where the red sticks and the politics were happening too. Not just a war, red sticks, white sticks. It was like a little political thing taking place. People siding with different things in these border zone areas, right? This is a perfect example. Now here, it say this flag after a Congress of Creeks. Congress to say. You see how I said Congress? That means they had their own Congress.
Yep.
You know that? We'll make sure y'all heard that right. And Seminoles. And black Seminoles will be included in this, by the way. If you think they not, let y'all know. Fort Negro, Fort Moses, this flag. Oh, yeah, okay. Elected him Director General of the state of Muskogee in 1799. All right, see, the capital of this state was the Indian Village. Now, today down here in South Florida, we got casinos and stuff, Miami, called the Mickey-Suki. See, Suki now. We got the Mickey-Suki though. Mickey mean chief, and Suki. I ain't gonna, because there's a couple different things tied to it. I ain't gonna do it right now. Near present day Tallahassee Casino, FAMU, right? The Rattlers and FSU, Seminole town, right? Up north, all the way up there. But we down, I'm in South Florida, but Tallahassee all the way up there. That's a Muskogee term too as well. But either way, Bowles was captured, turned over to the Spanish authorities in 1803. So really, from 1799 to 1803, that's 4 years. That's all it is, 4 years, right? But in the 4-year time, what he made a run for, a marathon, but 4 years is a long time trying to do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And says later died in Havana prison. Spanish, see, the Spanish took him, right? We're like, look, you getting us messed up in our politics, and we letting you flee into our territory, and you really ain't even with us. You with the British, you're a British loyalist that don't like the Americans, and now you're trying to get down with the indigenous people who are in the Spanish territory that you interrupting shit. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. They got them up out of here.
It's a border zone. You hear what I mean? It's like you causing us problems. Either way, the state of Muskogee came to an end. I mean, that's the true. That's like, keep it short, but the government, state of Florida, tell you that. But it's a Muskogee, though. You hear me? It's a Muskogee. You see how they had to make sure they give you the delineation between the Mickey-Suki and obviously the Seminole, right?
Mm-hmm.
They said Creek, which is Muskogee, and then they said and Seminoles, because today when you go to Oklahoma, right, they tell you in the Indian removal situation that obviously the Creek side, which would be Muskogee, decided to go there in a certain time, but then there was the ones who were called the Seminoles out of that territory, black Seminoles, red, whatever, just meaning those who said, we ain't got nothing to do with what you're doing. You know what I'm talking about? and they warred all the way to 1858. That's what we just covered with the Negro War, right, Monte?
Yeah.
Did we just cover that, ain't it? With Dr. Dixon. So the Indian removal happened now, but we got a whole war still taking place in this buffer zone, this borderland. And you got people coming into it, different things at different times, trying to set up areas in this borderland area, buffer zone area. You heard me? So I thought this is why it's a great example of people in American history looking at the politics and economics and jurisdictions and everything tied to borderland territory. So slide down a little bit more. I think it's a little bit more. We can go to this picture. And after that, you go. All right, you got them. Okay, slide back.
That's it.
I said, all right, boom. I want to make sure we're a website that's showing out of our state dealing with this flag. You know what I'm talking about? Nothing I made up. But Alabama, see, this is why I messed up. We're going to land here. This is where we landed at right before we get out of here. See, Alabama, right? So Alabama, Florida, Georgia, those state lines is a place where my people are from called Seminole County, Donaldsville. And it sits really on the border of Alabama and Georgia. I mean, it's in Georgia, but Alabama and Florida at the same damn time, almost right there. It's an intersection. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So this area is tied to that area. They call it Muskogee Seminole territory. You heard me? And it's a region that in a certain time frame, we're going to show you next week how that all connects to within the context of the indigenous people tied to Creek, Muskogee, and the regions of when that Confederacy came about and how it got in this buffer zone. But you make that a little bit bigger too for the folk. I know I can't read it. I ain't gonna lie. Lord knows. Yeah, a little bit bigger. All right, yeah. British loyalists. So make sure you see what they say. Alabama. This is Alabama state now. Recognize it. I show you Florida. I'm showing you Alabama. Right. Both these states are recognizing what's happening with them state of Muskogee. You notice that, Monte?
Yep.
Is that right? Both states, 2 different states. Right? It's not a borderland situation. Being that he's being told about in Alabama, but he's also being told about in Florida, Tallahassee. Right?
Yep.
It shows you it was a regional area where this man, who was a British loyalist, was able to come into, right? Slid on down into Florida, Alabama, Georgia area, and was able to get the Congress of the Muskogee Seminole people.
Which don't make no sense, because Buddy wasn't even from this area.
He's not from it. What's happening? Right, ask the question. Well, why they don't tell you about this story in the Borderland conversation? See, this should be
Hey, let me read something about him then.
Go ahead, give it to him.
So William Augustus Bowles, he's a British loyalist, best known for his unsuccessful attempt to establish an independent Creek nation or state of Muskogee. He often claimed he was Director General of the Creek Nation, creating friction with Creek leaders, while also scheming against the Spanish and attempting to take over trade relations with the Creeks. Because he frequently embellished his feats and accomplishments, the Creeks gave him the name Okaloosa Miko, or King of Liars. Exasperated by his unfulfilled promises of cheaper arms and trade goods, in 1803, his Seminole supporters turned him over to the Spanish authorities, who imprisoned him in Cuba, where he died. But check out this part. According to most sources, William Augustus Bowles was born on November 2nd, 1763 in Frederick County, Maryland, the first of several children of Thomas Bowles and Eleanor Price. Thomas Bowles had immigrated to North America from London during the French and Indian War and became a wealthy landowner in Maryland.
And his ancestors where he was born at? In Maryland. And he's a British loyalist.
So how the hell you come out here trying to speak for the Creek?
In Florida, Georgia, Alabama territory, Muskogee Creek territory, creating a flag for the state of Muskogee with the Congress of people of the area tied to the. Come on, bro.
It makes no sense.
Listen here. See, people want to keep this thing straight on some, but now in the borderland conversation, what's going on? What's the politics at hand? Look. Again, y'all something to make you think before we slide tonight, though, because it's borderland. I just want to give that as an example of the end of term indigenous. Like it give you, look, William, go up a little bit more. That's right here in that paragraph. I think it'll give a little more context to this. Right here, we're gonna start right there. When it says Frederick County, Maryland, the first several children of Thomas Bowles and Leonard Price. Thomas Bowles had immigrated to North America, like you said, from London during the French and Indian War, became a wealthy landowner in Maryland. Both he and William will remain loyal to the Britain during the American Revolution. William left home at the age of 13, enlisting in Maryland's Loyalist Regiment, and later joined General William Howe's company in Philadelphia in the fall of 1777. As the company trekked toward New Jersey, Bowles' first duty was to guard the baggage train, and he was later assigned for is that foregoing? Is that my thing tripping? Or is that foraging? Foraging, excuse me, I'm tripping. All right, my eyes see cataract. Duties on a Long Island. It says his regiment was next stationed in Jamaica, where Bowles managed to avoid the fever and smallpox that plagued many of the men. He and the remainder of the Maryland Loyalists were healthy enough to travel, where they sent a reinforcement, a British garrison to Pensacola. See, Pensacola. Oh, where's that? British West Florida. Got a green was just saying something about right how Florida had British had a little part of that area at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Royal Proclamation, right? 1763. You heard me? King George III. Royal Proclamation. However, this is all going to be tied to the borderland areas when that royal. See, that's another thing. Matter of fact, you can pull that up. Slam. If you get a chance. Matter of fact, since we brought up all that, I think that's a good one. If you can get that live, because we've showed it before, but the 1763 Royal Proclamation by King George III, because it's the royal ideal, imperial ideal of how transitions are taking place based off of this proclamation in this time frame when things are happening prior to the American Revolution, and how these colonial areas that became now border zone areas, frontier zone areas, borderland areas, frontier zone areas, now known as urban or ghetto areas, where certain people were living in these territories, and as they're developing to be where they are today, for the people that are doing their history on it. But either way, that this whole history right here with Augustus Bowles, he came all the way from Maryland and slid down into this territory, this considered Muskogee territory at the time. Yeah, he was sliding though. He was a scammer. I see somebody. That's
exactly what it was.
He was on some other shit. You heard me? But this is what we got to show. The border, and this is what's happening in the borderland territories in these time frames. You see what I'm saying? I can't make this up. And that's why you got to see the timeline with it, and you can see the politics that's going on, because it's not just about what we always try to say. Well, my people just this. Well, shit, you could be labeled this, and you could be mixed or whatever. But in the imperial standpoint, and our idea to understand it, to point out always the imperial side versus the autonomous side. Make sure that's always the position of the autonomous party, is to show out the autonomous side to the imperial side. You heard me? Now, some of y'all might look at that as being the field nigga type shit. But however, the Royal Proclamation 1763 was issued by King George III of Great Britain. What did it say? October 7th, 1763. It followed the Treaty of Paris, 1763. These are things that are happening in this time frame in America, in these borderland areas. You hear me? And this is the colonial period, and these things are already happening and moving and functioning in the Southeast with different tribes, different things, etc. All happening. Borderland. You heard me? It's real. It's multi-layered. When we start talking about this borderland, you're playing Monopoly at this point. Crowns against crowns. Things moving differently. Trade situations taking different, you know what I mean? Different sides. Port cities, areas. It's a lot going on in the game of Monopoly in America. Borderland. BSB. That's what it is tonight. I wanted to show that real quick. You want to read anything from before we slide? Look, even show Royal Proclamation continues to be the legal importance to First Nations in Canada, being the first legal recognition of Aboriginal title, rights, and freedoms. It is recognized in the Constitution Act of 1982, partly due to direct action by Indigenous peoples of Canada. You heard me? This is dealing with that. I dealing with it. And see, this, so that's why we have Nova Scotia and people leaving into, you know what I mean? People, jurisdiction, Borderlands.
Yep.
Borderland.
Other borderlands. Yep.
Borderland. It's a lot to it. It's a little more deeper than just saying, oh, I'm just an Indian, I'm this, and that. What your people got going on, got more to do how they might be identified by an imperial system. You know what I'm saying? Or some maroon shit. Maroon. Borderland.
Hey. Got to it today.
That's what it is.
Broke it down with these borderlands. Hope you take notice. Definitely appreciate everybody that be tapped in. Hit the like button if you're still here and haven't done that for us. It definitely helps. All your super chats, all the love. Hey, them shirts coming soon. We're going to do a little commercial or something for them, man, because we going to need y'all support on this. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Go give them that American maroon shit, that Borderland. We're going to give them all that coming up. Like, you know what I mean? Hey, but you know what, though? We try to hold back. We got shirts that we have through the system, but, you know, that was like, you know, you test everything out when you first start something, man. Appreciate everybody supported that, too. There's people that supported that that I got to give credit to. Yeah. Shout out to everybody that has support. Like, this matter of fact, this right here, Champion, right? Made by Champion. You see me? Made by Champion. With the logo right there. But this from the same, you know what I mean? So we know what we want to do and what we want to represent doing the culture and the urban side of what today in the ethnogenesis we feel we still gotta represent and preserve the history of things, but we gotta give it to you in our autonomous way. You heard me? So that's what it is. Tap in. Till next Sunday.
Bro.
Till next Sunday, we're gonna go in next week on some little more indigenous shit tied to all this. We're gonna show the indigenous side, we're gonna show the evolution of it. These terms and how these names come about. We're gonna show you, I'm gonna give you an example with since the Muskogee came up here and it's fresh on your minds. If you've been watching the show from now to next week, then you'll see. I'm gonna show some that correlate with it, dealing with Chief Malatichi. Some things on maps tied to borderland areas, dealing with surnames and certain things tied to certain clans and certain things in the development. And it's going to be interesting how today people try to say the purest thing, but it's clearly showing you had a leg up in these borderland areas because of certain things in alliances of trade and certain shit. You know what I'm saying? It's deeper than, like people say, deeper than rap. You heard me? Well, this is way deeper than race, what we dealing with and how people took a side. You heard me?
Yep.
Peace to the party. Maranatha.
We go.
Peace.
Part of my autonomy, I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces. How the fuck you bummy and broke but a pair of races? My lineage free people of color with a left make each nigga. This right here maroon, now it ain't burgundy. If you plotting murder, I'm certain that you'll need surgery. Hurt from when the burner squeeze. Protecting tribe business. Only consulting with governments, tribe to tribe with it. Please don't confuse us with those considered native. Semi-autonomy never was in our nature. Just address me as Estelusti. Wild Indian status and Cherokees riding Ruchis. In my war bonnet, if you want it, bring it to your region. And black forces the same color the European. Part of my autonomy, I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. You never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine.